All right, welcome back to the All American Hoops podcast. This is episode 121. Joining me, as per usual, is my younger brother Matt Driscoll.
H, it's always a pleasure. This is my first ep, I think, in 2 weeks.
I think so, right?
Yeah, it's been too long. I'm happy I'm back.
For sure. Yeah. So last week we had, or I had Jalen Carter. Happy birthday to Jalen Carter, by the way.
Happy birthday.
And we also had, and then 2 weeks ago we had John and Peter and our friend Peter Foreman. So that was a good show. John was supposed to join us today. He got caught up at work though. His job is much more busy than ours. I was gonna say more important, but I don't know if his job is actually more important than mine. But
you could say more important than mine. I think that's fair. I don't know about educating the youth. It might be a little more important, but I think risk. He could. He beats me with that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah. So yeah, like. So anyway, yeah, like I say, my job is very important, but however, look, I did take the day off today. But yeah, been a little under the weather the past couple of days, and for those of you that watch Fluent versus Show versus Everyone that we have on Wednesday nights, I think you might have been able to catch that kind of last night at some points, and let me explain why. It's because obviously, I don't know if you can hear me, but like I'm a little more congested, like a little more nasally, but so like I'm drinking a lot of water along the way. So like at school the past couple of days I've been going to the bathroom like 4 or 5 times a day because of how much water I'm drinking. And that didn't change last night. So usually I sit through the pod, I go through it. I could not do it yesterday. So I turned my camera off in the middle of one of the debates, by the way. So I didn't even hear half of Chilltown's arguments. When I got on, I was like, oh yeah, I heard all of it. Yeah, Chilltown, you did a great job. I'm gonna give it to you there. So I hope that neither Chilltown nor Tony are watching this right now. But because I'm usually 99% locked in, but yesterday I just couldn't. But anyway, yeah, I'm here. I'm here now. Yeah, ready to go.
So this is your flu game, technically.
I guess so. Yeah, I had one of these last year, but only difference. Yeah. The only difference is this time around. Yeah, I actually took off from work, but not really looking forward to our dad, who's also a teacher, has probably taken off like 1 sick day in his 25 years of teaching. I wasn't really looking forward to his passive aggressive comments on you're good enough to do a podcast but not good enough to teach. So I think he's the one person ever that could actually judge me for that, given that he's literally never taken a sick day once in his life. But so
he's gonna retire with like 200 sick days, which it's great.
It's gonna be more than 200 actually, but
yeah,
I could be wrong, but so anyway, yeah, before we dive into the show, we're going to give a couple birthday shout outs. So first of all, to Isaiah Thomas, aka Zeke, 2-time NBA champion, 1-time Finals MVP, to Luis Scola, and to Celtic legend Brandon Bass, mid-range genius, also defended LeBron in a couple of those Heat series. Baseball, I was not familiar with any of these guys. Phil Garner, I think he's a 3-time All-Star. Charlie Jones. And there's another guy. He plays on the Rockies, and I don't remember why. I don't remember seeing his name, but I could be wrong. But Eduardo Jones, he's currently played there. Not Eduardo. It took another weird name. He could have been starting the entire time, but I just didn't realize. But and then the NFL side, there was no one I was familiar with that side of Tony Pollard, running back for the Cowboys / the Titans now. So couple of good shout outs there, but yeah, pretty thin as it's been the past couple weeks. Last week. Gave a birthday shout out to Giants last year defensive player of the year candidate Brian Burns. So hopefully we can get more of those. But anyway, we got a good show ahead of us. Yeah, we're not at our usual time. We're going 7 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock today because the Celtics are on at 8. Knicks are on at 7. They're probably starting in a couple minutes. But yeah, so yeah, we'll dive into each important series. So I guess we'll just start off with our Boston Celtics since I already mentioned them. But the Celtics are currently up 3-2 in the series. Game 6 is tonight. Game 1 they completely blew the Sixers out. Like they were clearly the better team. Game 2, the Celtics were in it for a little bit, but like they just missed too many shots. The Sixers capitalized on that. Tyrese Maxey played an awesome game. DJ Edgecombe played the game of his life. Second time that he kicked the Celtics butt the series, one of them being on opening nights. Game 3, Celtics gave it to them right back. They ended up it was a dogfight the entire game, but then Jason Tatum totally closed it out. Game 4 was much more similar to game 1, but even in a stronger fashion. So Celtics up 3-1 heading into home. Everyone's thinking that they're going to close it out right there, but they didn't. They played a significant, in my opinion, no far worse game than game two. Game two was just a matter of them missing shots, but game five was the ugliest I've seen them play all year long, and up there is one of the most frustrating times I've seen a team. The only one that I could see. Obviously, we could see the Knicks last year, but like the only other time that I can name a time that I was actually frustrated, and not like upset with the link, but like frustrating, I think was Game Five of 2023 when we lost to the Hawks. But so yeah, before I give my like I just laid out most of the facts, but like before I give more of my thoughts, Matt, what are your thoughts either heading into tonight or just overall with the Celtics in general?
Well, heading into tonight, big news: the Sixers are giving out rally towels instead of rally shirts tonight. And teams, when they give out towels, are 0-4 in the postseason. So not a good sign for the Sixers
Funny.
this year for this game. However, you touched on a lot of good points. I think the difference in feeling that Celtics fans have going into this game versus Knicks fans going into this game is completely different, and it's completely
Mm,
valid. I
yep.
think being the series being 2-2 and then winning game 5 to go up 3-2, you're feeling great. I think if you're up 3-1 and then lose game 5 to make it 3-2 to play an extra game, you feel you're kind of kicking yourself. And I mean, I know the Celtics have had the Sixers number for this era, this generation. But I don't know if I'm just wrong about this, but this is one of the worst Sixer teams that they have played. If I'm totally being honest, obviously they have
I agree.
Embiid, who's banged up right now. Maxey and Edgecombe are very talented, but their depth really isn't as good as in previous years. Um, However, neither is the Celtics. Celtics talent level wise isn't as good as last 2 seasons. Um, However, I think it really comes down to a couple of factors with this series, and if the Celtics end up closing it out tonight or in Game 7 in the next series, where they're most likely playing the Knicks. It really comes down to their big guy play, their big man play. The rotation of Keita, Vucevic, and Garza really hasn't looked great this postseason. I know, granted, you're playing against Joel Embiid, who's a very talented center, but he didn't play in games 1 and 2. So it's very a little concerning that Keita has had foul trouble, and hasn't been able to stay on the floor. And Vucevic's defense is even worse than in the regular season, and worse than what I thought it would be when they traded for him. Garza has been fine in his limited time, in my opinion. I know Vuce spreads the floor, and a lot of people on Twitter are liking his contribution to the series. I would disagree with that aspect of it. I don't think he's been that spectacular. So my number one big takeaway is big man play, and if they make it into the next round, that's going to be a real concern and a real struggle for them when they play against a team like the Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. I think the second biggest takeaway is the X factor is Derek White. He's been truly awful this postseason from the on the offensive side. He's averaging, I think, a little over 8 points. He's shooting 29% from the field, 21 from three, and the misses are bad misses. When he shoots them off the hand, you can just tell there's no confidence in his shot. He does not look like it's going in from the jump. And his looks have been pretty open, which is concerning. And I would be way less concerned if it was just this series, but the entire year he's been struggling from three. I think he was 32% or 33% for the year, which is a significant drop off from previous years. So those are my big two takeaways, and then my third one is the play of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Obviously, you see in the games that they've played well. The Celtics have won. Last game, I think you could just chalk up everyone. He didn't like. I don't think anyone really played well besides Peyton Pritchard. But you can't go on stretches like they did in the fourth. They scored for. They didn't make a field goal for the last 7 minutes of the game last
Crazy.
night. It was truly
Yeah.
one of the worst quarters I've ever seen. I've ever
Yeah.
experienced as a fan. Um, even when Tatum missed the two free throws, they missed 16 straight field goals in the fourth quarter. That's just you're asking to lose. You're asking to extend the series. Um, so yeah, I mean, sorry, I vented there a little bit, but
No worries, yeah.
so the two things I talked about already, which was the big man and Derek White. The other things are the play of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown was really uninspiring in the fourth quarter. I think he shot 5 times, missed all five.
Yeah.
Really bad looks, a lot of contested mid ranges. Felt like he was pressing and forcing his looks instead of it coming naturally to him where he is at his best. Tatum bricked a pretty bad three, like the
Yeah.
rocketed off the side of the backboard, missed two free throws. So clearly he wasn't himself either. But It's they dug themselves a hole right now, and it's up to them to get out of it. I have a fact, Chris. Since 1969, the Celtics have won 10 playoff games in Philadelphia. They have
Okay.
eliminated the Sixers 7 times in that span. However, they've never done it in Philadelphia. So if they win tonight, it would be the
Oh,
first time since 1969 eliminating the Sixers in Philadelphia.
okay. Yeah, that's interesting for sure. So yeah, you definitely nailed on the head with the Vucevic, like the big man play. Yeah, one of the biggest things is that Kata just can't stop fouling. And yeah, like I think it's like 3 games in a row now, probably at least. I'm not so much sure in game 4, but definitely games 2, 3, and 5 for sure that he was that he's gotten into foul trouble, which is why Vucevic has had to play so many minutes. Um, it's one of those things where like you actually have to watch the game to realize that Vucevic has just not been that great because it's funny because he's like I was listening to him on the radio like when I was driving on Friday nights for like the first half of the game and I heard all the announcers saying like, Vucevic does this. So like he was doing like some of the little things, but then I open up Twitter and I open up our group chat and like everyone's just ripping apart Vucevic for how brutal he's been. So like so it's like one of those but and then when I go back to the house to watch the second half I saw like like you could tell like he like clearly like isn't slipping on defense here. He's giving them Embiid too much space at certain moments. Yeah, like I'm curious. Like I didn't look at the defensive matchups, but like I'd imagine that at most of Embiid's points were scored on Vucevic, not on Kata. Um,
I
so
mean,
that's the
most of his points were definitely scored on Vucevic because Kata has played like 10 minutes. He's averaging 7 fouls
true.
per 35 minutes. Like it's just
That
he's
yeah yeah it's crazy.
we blame Joe for not playing Garza. We play Sorry, I just totally cut you off, but we
Okay, yeah.
blame Joe for not playing Garza over Vucevic, which I think is a fair gripe. But his starting center can barely stay on the floor. I think it's on Kata to make that change, and we'll see
Be a
if he
little more
does.
disciplined for sure. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested to see what the adjustment there is going to be because like Embiid's looking healthy now. So like yeah, he looked very slow in game 4. Got all the rust off him. So like I'm curious to see how he and even Embiid last game, like like don't get me wrong, he played like awesome and like was extremely impactful, but like he only had 4 rebounds. Like he looked slow towards the end of the game. So and I'm not expecting any of that tonight. I'm not expecting that to roll over. I'm expecting him to look good like he did the first 3 quarters last times. But yeah, regardless of what happens, they need to make adjustments. I don't know if they're gonna. Yeah, I don't think they should double more. Like, I definitely don't think you should leave Maxi and Edgecombe open. And one thing we didn't even talk about is Paul George has looked probably the best he's looked in the 2 years he's been with Philly. So like I shouldn't. Yeah, like I didn't watch a ton of him um this year. I should say I know that last year he looked pretty brutal, but I know that he started picking up towards the end of the regular season. Now he's like playing some of the best he's been, especially on the defensive end. Like playing giving Tatum and Brown a hard time like when he's guarding them. Yeah, I did want to touch on Derek White though. Yeah. At the end of the day, like when Derek White's looking good, he's like the Celtics are like the Celtics are looking like what they did in 2024. So which I know that's a high expectation. Like we can't ask him just to drop 30 on a random night anymore, but just go rather than going 2 for 7, go 3 for 7 and get like a couple more assists um and I know we talked about it like off the air the other night, but um I'm not saying that he's not a great defender. I literally picked him to be first team all defense this year, but it's one of those things to where when he's like the number one guy, that's like that defenses are going to avoid. Like it was tough for 2 years, like the past 2 years when it was Drew Holiday and Derek White, even the 2 years before that, where it was Derek White and Marcus Smarts. But this year it's Derek White and either Peyton Pritchard or I don't even know who else. But yeah, Jordan Walsh is a good defender, but like he's not. Yeah, he's definitely not as good as Marcus Smart or Drew Holiday were. But like so, it just shows you that like sometimes when you're in a bigger role, you tend to just not be as confident or like you're just exposed to a little more. So I'm not questioning the value of Derek White at all, but I am saying that he just might need to make some adjustments. I know that Bobby Manning tweeted this morning a video of him shooting, and apparently he was like shooting with the bigger arc. So I don't know if that's going to change anything. It could be just something that he's trying out, but hopefully that little tweak might change things up for sure.
Yeah, and not to touch on the series for too long. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think we should give a little. I can't believe I'm saying this on the All American Hooper podcast, but give a little credit to the Sixers coming back to Boston in Game
Oh
5.
yeah,
And down 13, they didn't. I mean, I know their season's on the line, but they could have easily just rolled over and been like, "Listen, we're the 7th seed.
Yeah.
We could just chalk it up. Our young guys had a good year, take some positives, and just roll over and die and have the season end." But they fought back. Some great play from their stars. You touched on it. Paul George hasn't been scoring a ton this hasn't been taking a ton of shots this series, but his defense has been really, really,
Yeah.
really superb, and he's actually been pretty efficient as well.
Has
But
been. Yeah. I think he started off.
there's some.
I think he started
Sorry,
off
go
2
ahead.
for 2 from three last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and his like some stat I saw, it was like a top 7 most efficient point per possession if it on a
Yeah.
when someone sets a screen for Paul George. So, um, this postseason. So we'll see tonight. Um, it's going to be tough to eke one out in Philly.
That's for sure. Yeah, we'll see what has to happen for sure. But yeah, I guess now we can go into the 1-8 matchup, which is the Pistons versus the Magic. And yeah, this is absolutely crazy. Because obviously when the Magic lost, um, but actually, before we dive into this, before we dive back into the Celtics, a comment from a friend of the pod, Drew, who's actually Matt, she likes before the pods. How do you keep the nerves at ease? Yeah, we don't need to dive into that, but I don't. I'll answer on behalf. Just drinking a lot of water and just making sure you're all good. So, and
Ask is if Drew's still watching. I wonder how he's feeling for Game 6.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's one of the
They
only
were
the
him and Drew Fitzpatrick, and another friend of the pod, Patrick Wart. Oh, by the way, no free ads, but we should talk about doing an ad read for his app, Pat
oh
Wart's
yeah,
app.
yeah, we definitely gotta for sure.
But they went to Game 3, tough loss. But I was actually watching Game 5 with Pat. He did not have any hope, but the Sixers ended up winning.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. All right. So so the Magic Pistons. So the Magic after losing to the Sixers in game 1 of the play-in tournaments, everyone said, "Oh, the Magic suck." And yeah, like blow everything up, fire Mosley, trade trade Paolo for this. I already made the joke, and I kind of wish that I waited until they were eliminated. I'm going to make the joke again, but if they lose, I'm going to say, yeah, obviously you got to trade Paolo for Giannis, then you have to fire Mosley and then hire Doc Rivers. So I'm looking forward to making the joke again, um, but anyway, yeah, the Magic completely turned it around. They won game 1 in pretty dominant fashion. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, good for them." Like they showed some life, and then they lost game 2, and then they won games 3 and 4. I think that's how it went, and then lost last night. So um, it's a pretty fun matchup for sure because both Paulo and Cade, I believe, back to back for number 1 overall picks. I think 21, 2022. Yeah, I have it right. So and yeah, they were kind of back and forth for who was better. Yeah, I feel like it was Paulo for a couple of years there, but then past 2 seasons, Cade seemed to kind of take that title as like the better of the 2 players. But and he still is probably playing a little better than Paulo this series. But last night they both dropped 40 pieces on each other, um and it was pretty cool to see like 2 young guys going at it. Both of them who have been doubted by fans. Not so much Cade. I guess a little bit of Cade, like more so towards the beginning of his career. But we'll talk about each of these matchups because every matchup is being 3-2. I do think that the Pistons coming back down 3-1 is one of the most likely ones outside of Denver, but it's definitely it's definitely like a fun teams to watch for sure.
yeah, I am shocked about this series possibly having the Magic win. I thought the Magic were dead, especially after uh, the loss to the Celtics at the end of the regular season and the play-in. Um, but I am, once the Hornets lost to the Heat and then they played the Magic in the play-in, I think everyone thought that the Hornets were just going to win and then become the 8 seed, and the Magic were just going to be the 9 seed and not even make the postseason. And they sneaked into the postseason. I mean, they totally dominated in that play-in game. But Chris, you mentioned, Paolo and Cade being first overall picks. I think if you ask anyone who you would rather have right now to start a franchise, everyone's taking Cade, and that's just because
100%.
the
Yes.
inconsistency from Paolo Banchero. I believe when was so today is what, the 30th? So
Hmm.
that means, all right, so that was game 5 last night. So game 4, Paolo shot 4 of 18, and the rest of the starters really didn't give them much. Um, and then last night you see he scores 45 even though they ended up losing. But I do think that a 3-1 comeback is likely. I feel like a lot of people are saying that. Um, obviously we will see shortly, but I can't believe the Magic are up 3 games. I really did not expect
Yeah.
anything coming into this. I think if anything, the Cavs would upset the Pistons next round, and I mean we'll talk about that series too. The Raptors are really giving them a run for their money, but the Magic are the 6th 8 seed in history to take a 3-1 lead of a over a 1 seed. 4 of the 5 ended up going on to win the series. And the only team to lose the series was in 2003, the Magic versus the Pistons. So crazy stat for you there, but
Mhm.
I do think it is possible. I think the Pistons are just the totally the better team, but they haven't been playing like it at all. So we'll see.
They have not. So, and I don't know. So like yeah, like we talked about this with Jay from House of Highlights. We also talked about it with PJ from Would You Ball. So yeah, the Pistons look like and kind of everyone had the back of their minds that they're a young team. They could be vulnerable, but at the end of the day, they're a really well constructed defensive team, and then Cade is good enough on offense. So I definitely think that a big part of the reason is just that Jalen Duren has been a little disappointing this year, like this series, and I'm sure the fact that Angel Reese is posting videos of her current man, Wendell Carter Jr., just completely kicking his ass is kind of getting into his head as well. So maybe that's something that'll change up for sure. But anyway, so I think we'll save the Knicks for last because they're playing right now. But yeah, we'll do the other series, which would be the Cavs versus the Raptors. Which I'll be honest, the Raptors are, and like I've been saying this all year long, but like they're even better than I thought they were. I know that part of I definitely think part of it was also that like I may have overrated the Cavs a little bit, but yeah, the Magic, yeah, Cavs went up 2 nothing. The Raptors came back and won back to back to make it 2-2. And then yesterday, I think the Raptors were up like 7 at one point in either the second or third quarter. Definitely the second quarter. I think as late as the third quarter though. And Chilltown, we were like tracking it live, and Chilltown said like, and Chilltown even said, he said like, no, the Raptors are going to close out here, and then they're not going to go back to Cleveland. They're going to win in 6. So and that ends up not happening. They're going to have to, yeah, like if the Raptors do want to win the series, they're going to have to go back to Cleveland. But yeah, but like really, I don't know who this. Yeah, obviously you got to give some credit to the Raptors. Scotty's been looking very good on defense. And at the end of the day, up until yesterday, Evan Mobley was playing very disappointingly. But yesterday he had like I think he had like I'm pretty sure he had like 20 and 10 if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know what to expect because it seems like the Raptors are like better than I expected, but I definitely think there's a world where the Cavs still make the conference finals by default. But I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I totally underestimated the Raptors as well coming into this series. I think I underestimated the environment in Toronto as well. It
Mhm.
seems like very, very hard to play there. Um, and I mean, I don't think the Cavs are that great either. I think the winner of the second round series, whether that's Atlanta or the Knicks, is looking more likely like the Knicks or the Sixers or Celtics looking like the Celtics. So if it's Celtics Knicks, I think the winner of that series ends up making the finals, and I think a lot of people are saying that as well. Um, but I mean, these two teams are better than I expected, like you said, Chris. I think the real story last night was the bench points. The Cavs came back in the late in the game, like you said. Obviously, Mitchell, Harden, and Mobley combined for 65, which is super impressive. When their big three is on top of their game, it's one of the better ones in the league. But the Cavs bench scored 43 points and made 8 threes. And the Raptors bench kind of struggled. Jamal Sheed, who's been awesome on defense. He had 18 points last night, but him and Jacoby Walter combined for 24 threes, which is kind of crazy. I mean, they shot 10 of 24, which isn't terrible. But still crazy that they attempted that many. I think that was the Cavs' strategy to make them shoot, and it ended up working at the end. But yeah, great. You got a great game from Donovan Mitchell, an amazing game from Evan Mobley, and a very good game from Harden, minus his 6 turnovers, which I think will eventually catch up to them and bite them in the ass. But when you get solid games from all 3 of them, and then your bench steps up, they're going to be hard to beat, especially against the Raptors.
I definitely agree. I also think that Game 6 is as close to a much win as it is for the Cavs. I hate to be this guy, but James Harden is a historically bad Game 7 player. So, and I don't think that that's by coincidence at all. Like I know that last year Nuggets were probably a better team than the Raptors are this year, but I definitely see a world where the Raptors win the next 2 games. I'll probably take the Cavs to win Game 6 because I think they'll take care of business for round 1. The second round might be in question, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, we could definitely dive now into the Knicks series. So I have it up right now. The Knicks are up 12 in the first quarter. So not really expecting much of a choke job from the Knicks right now. OG Anunoby has 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 4 for 4 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3. So and that sounds pretty typical to start because OG Anunoby has been playing phenomenal basketball this series. He's really been the much better out of the 2 between Mikal Bridges. He's been playing better like the last 2 games. He definitely started off struggling. But at the end of the day, everyone knew the Knicks were the better team heading into the series, and it doesn't really look like it's going to be that big of an exception. Shout out to Jalen Johnson and Casts, but for being an awesome team in the second half. But I just don't think they're going to be good enough to go against the team that's probably either the first or second best team in the East.
Yeah, I mean, you really hit the nail on the head there. The Knicks have outscored the Hawks by 56 points going into tonight, and they're up 12 already right now. Through 5 games, and it's 3-2 because both their losses have been by 1 point. First team in NBA history to lose a playoff game by 1 point in back-to-back games. So the Knicks have just been the better team this series, in my opinion. I think they just overall top to bottom, they are a better team, and I think they kind of figured the Hawks out. They really don't have anybody to guard Karl-Anthony Towns, and he showed that. I think that was trying to think. They lost Game 3, so Game 4 he showed that, and then Game 5 was the Jalen Brunson game. I think Jalen Brunson has been disrespected a lot, especially in this series, which some of it is valid. His defense has been very, very poor this series, and when he's not scoring or he's not scoring high 20s, it's tough to defend him. But last game he had 39 or 38, I think. Super efficient, and he's been one of the better playoff risers of the last couple of years.
Easily,
truly a great scorer, which is kind of crazy. He's doing this. He's listed at 6'1". He's definitely shorter.
Yeah.
Usually small guards are known for playoff dropping unless your name is Steph Curry. But he has totally been a playoff riser. I think the 2-man game between him and Karl-Anthony Towns is going to drive me crazy next series versus the Celtics if the Celtics make it. But Chris, you mentioned OG Anunoby. He's been phenomenal. He's shooting almost 50% from 3 this series, and he's truly an unbelievable player. He's their clear 3rd best player in my opinion on that team, and the impact of him and Karl-Anthony Towns has been very noticeable this series.
100%, and I'm pretty sure even game 2 or game 3. I don't even remember which game it was. It was one of the games that they lost where all the Knicks were minuses for the most part. Definitely Mitchell Robinson and Mikal Bridges for sure. I think that for the most part it was actually pretty dead even. I think most of the starters may have been positive, but I know the Bridges and Robinson were big time negatives. But I know the Towns, when the Knicks lost, he was still a +20 or something like that. So shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns. He's definitely proven to I know that a lot of people say given his personality and his defensive intangibles, he's kind of a playoff dropper. But I definitely think you put him in the right system, he's definitely one of the more impactful centers in the league for sure. So Yeah, like I assume they win tonight, and I'm definitely curious to see how either the Celtics or the Sixers, hopefully Celtics just close out tonight, adjust to it, because even though the Sixers are probably deeper in depth for their big men, but we don't have to dive too deep into matchups for next series yet. We'll just talk about the first round matchups. But shout out to the Knicks. They've been everyone started to doubt them after game 3, like showing a lot of skepticism, but they just completely came back to them. So so good for them there. That definitely showed a lot of guts. But we'll go out west now. So we'll trying to think what we should. I think we'll. Do we want to talk about the Thunder Sun series? I don't want. I don't want. I don't think we. I don't think there's no. Like, I don't think we learned anything from that series. We know we already know that the Thunder are.
So
Go.
my take on that is grouped with the Spurs series, and they're the only 2 teams that won in 5 games or less. Spurs won in 5, and Thunder won in 4. And there has been 0 champions since 2015 or 2014. Spurs were the last team to do it. So from 2015 on, that has played more than 5 games in the first round. So if that's the trend, and if history repeats itself, one of the 2 teams in that series are going to be the champion.
There were also 2 of the 3 teams that also achieved the 40-20 rule in the regular season. So like if you're good with bets, I would strongly recommend betting on either the Thunder or the Spurs to make the finals. There was one more. The Pistons being the other team for 40-20, but obviously they're going to at least it's going to be at least 7 games that they're going to get past the first round. I don't know why I said at least 7 games. It's going to be 7 games that they want to get past the first round. But it won't be more than 7 games. But the one thing I will say about the Thunder is that I don't know when Jalen Williams is going to be back, though. I'll be honest, I didn't watch a second of that series because they were at inconvenient timings. Very screw the NBA for scheduling these late games, but I'm just interested to see what they're going to do with Jalen Williams. I think that the better teams they play, like the more important he's going to be, but. I just think that no matter what happens with the Thunder this series, I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be keeping an eye on them for the next 2 years, not just because of how great they are, but also because of their insane money situation. Which obviously, when you're paying Chet, J-Dub, and Shea way too much money, that's it's what's the term? My steak is too juicy. My lobster is too buttery. Is that it?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic problem to have when you have to pay those 3 guys. But I also don't know if it's possible to pay those 3 guys for a long stretch of time, especially when both J-Dub and Chet are looking a little injury prone now. So we'll definitely be talking about the Thunder more. At least I'm imagining for the next couple playoff series. But yeah, for the
I'm trying to get an update on that. I can't see anything on Twitter.
J-Dub,
but 10 on April 23rd, it was week to week.
Okay, and I always feel like that's a bad sign when they say week to week because someone said it. Yeah, it was probably Simmons or Lowe that said I feel like that's the new NBA thing. It's just saying week to week just so you can avoid any questions. But it could be on a positive or negative. But shout out to your Blazers for having a very good season. Shout out to Drew Holiday. I'm imagining that he's going to be traded over the offseason, to cut salary because they're cheap owner, but.
The cheap owner's not bringing back Tiago Splitter either,
which is crazy.
Changed the season for them.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know who maybe they hired Doc. It's going to be the second time I'm bringing up Doc Rivers, but I'm kidding. No, I'm pretty sure he's retiring, but or he's retiring. I know they said that, but because I know that. I'd imagine that they're not going to trade Dame again because I feel like that'd be really effed up because. Obviously he came he said listen, no hard feelings, but I think they trade Drew. I know that a lot of people thought that he was a pretty low value after last season because he dropped, but I think that he was very good this year. So I think that players with big contracts, their value tends to go up if they don't drop as a player because there's few years in it. So I hope it's team not named the Lakers or the Sixers or whoever else trades for him. I feel like but if not. Oh, there's no way that they cut him after this year. No, he has too many years left, so no way. But yeah. So shout out to the Blazers and also shout out to the Spurs as well. They've been very, very good this year, and also shout out to De'Aaron Fox for finally putting together a very good last couple of games. So Yeah, he'll be very, very important if they want to go on a finals run. But yeah, we'll go to the 3-6 then, which is the Thunder. No, not Thunder. Oh, sorry, Nuggets
Nuggets.
versus Nuggets versus Timberwolves. Which, yeah, I'll be honest. Like I used to be an Anthony Edwards hater. I don't consider myself one anymore, given how much he's shown to be a great pro life riser, and everything there. But I but and like that's why I was like hesitant to like kind of pick against the Timberwolves. But however, I did say, you know what, they don't have Karl Anthony Towns anymore. They don't have like a good matchup for Jokic. But however, they've been winning in spite of Anthony Edwards. Like even like before he got injured, he still wasn't playing all that great. So but yeah, it's been the role players. Like yeah, what's his name? I don't even know how to say his name right. It's not Io? Is it?
I
I
think
think
it's not Io.
it is Io, right?
Yeah,
Io played.
that's what I call him. I mean, it could be
Yeah.
Ao, but I thought it was
I,
Io.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Simmons and those said Io. So yeah, they played. He played awesome in Game 4 to put them up 3-1, um, and then the other games. Shout out my guy Rudy Gobert playing phenomenal defense on Jokic, but however, last game with their injuries, and I want prayers up to Dante DiVincenzo who tore his Achilles, but luckily he's getting the surgery. Sorry, got the surgery done by Dr. I don't know his first name, Dr. O'Malley, who also did Tatum. So I'm hoping that hopefully he'll be back next year at some point, because I know that it's also a contract year. So hopefully he can get some type of payday, even if it's not going to be as much as it is before. But yeah, last night Jokic played probably the best game of his series. And like I know that everyone's going to say like if there's a team that's going to come back from 3-1, I would say the Nuggets because of all the injuries. But I know the Jokic haters are already saying like I don't really care about that. Like he's coming back 3-1 against a damaged team, which is true. Obviously, people discount the Raptors in 2019 all the time because of KD and Clay. But still, that being said, I do think it's impressive to even if you're like mentally down 3-1 to come back to come back. But who knows?
Yeah, Chris, you're totally right. You know, I have seen Jokic getting a lot of slander this series, which it's very valid
Yeah.
criticism. Because of the way he's played. You know, he's played a little. I'm trying to think of the word. He's turned the ball over a lot. He's been inefficient. And I think that's definitely because of Rudy Gobert's defense. Fun fact, little story today. Aaron Gordon is questionable playing the Timberwolves tonight with his hamstring strain or hamstring soreness, whatever you want to call it, or calf soreness. But I just think this is the series from hell for the Timberwolves. You know, they're a tough matchup for the Nuggets. Gobert obviously does a very good job on Jokic, and Jaden McDaniels does a great job on Jamal Murray. But you know, they ran into some crazy injuries. Obviously, Ant, he had the bone bruise in his other knee that wasn't even hurt to begin the playoffs. Obviously, Dante tears his Achilles. Io DeSumo is questionable tonight. Bones Highland is questionable tonight. So it's just a series from hell for them. I think they're even if they win this series, next series would be a tough ask for their bench pieces to step up, because I don't even think if they play the Lakers next series, I don't even know if Anthony Edwards is back for that series. I think it would be the
I don't know
conference
either.
finals.
Yeah, I think it would be too. So, it's super tough break for the Timberwolves. Yeah, like I do think that the Nuggets are going to close this out. Given like I think it's like when you have like your best player and like your fifth or sixth best player get hurt against a team that's like pretty well balanced, even with the injury of Aaron Gordon, which again, Aaron Gordon is so important to the team. Like like I knew he was, but like like the Nuggets are like they're not looking like one of the best teams in the West with him off the floor. Like they really didn't look like they didn't really climb up to be that good until he came back. And now even this year with him not playing a lot / up to his standard because of how injured he is, they're just not looking good at all. So given
Chris,
how
I have a question for you. Sorry, finish your thought. I'll ask it after.
no, you're good. Yeah. So yeah, given how shaken up the Timberwolves are, that the Nuggets shouldn't have a problem closing this out. But like if they do, if they're not able to close it out, like it just shows you how awesome Eric Gordon is. Yeah, your question though.
My question is, do you think that the Nuggets struggling in this series is a big red flag, and do you still did you have them going to the finals, or did you have the Thunder going to the finals?
Are the Nuggets going to the finals?
So, do you stand by that? Do you think like, oh, it's just a tough matchup for them if they somehow get by the Wolves in this round? They'll be fine versus the Lakers, who they have played well historically the last couple of years in the
Well, they
postseason.
wouldn't be playing the Lakers. They'd be playing the Spurs.
Oh, it's 2 versus 3. Sorry,
Yeah, that's
I
what you
messed
said.
that
Yeah,
up last
yeah.
last time. Do you think they have a shot to beat the Spurs still, or are
I
you
think they have a shot.
taking back your statement?
Yeah, I'm like I'm unless there's like a serious injury, which Gordon is injured, but like unless there's like a Jokic injury there, like I'm not going to be one to like go back on my predictions. But yeah, like I'm definitely feeling less optimistic about it for sure. As much as I can say, the Spurs don't have a lot of experience. Wemby can choke. Stephon Castle and Harper are in their first and second years. They can definitely not be there. But like no, like they look like a bunch of dogs out there in the first round. So which granted, I know they're playing inferior talent wise, but they're playing.
Blazers were pretty sneaky. They weren't good, but they were definitely a tough draw. They weren't like I would much rather been the 1 seed and played the Suns.
Oh, of course, 100%. Yeah, no, but like, and also the fact that like the Blazers do have like the experience. Like Drew, actually, I don't know how much experience they actually have. Like, yeah, like Drew Holiday is obviously the one with most playoff experience, two rings. But, I would say, yeah, like, but like if they do get past, like, I'm still gonna take the Nuggets because that was my initial prediction, and at the end of the day, like I do trust Jokic. Like the further he goes in the playoff series, that I know that he played like pretty brutal against. He didn't play brutal, but like it was more so like the end of the series. He wasn't as aggressive against the Thunder.
He was pretty banged up in that at the end of that series too, though.
Yeah, he was banged up, and I know that Wemby's a better defender than Chet, but I also think that they don't have a guy like Ihart that's going to be like the one bodying up Jokic. So it would likely be Wemby guarding him with like you know what, like I actually meant to look this up before. Like I don't know how many minutes Wemby and Luke Kornet played together either in the regular season or in the playoffs. So I'm going to look that up right now. So it looks like in the regular season, the two of them played, both of them on were, okay, so only 113 minutes, so not a lot. And their net rating was -9 in those minutes. Wow, that's very interesting, actually. But they were still a plus 6 with Kornet on and Wemby off. So yeah, I think Kornet's just clearly going to be the backup center for that team. But
that's a lot of big men depth there.
It is
such a good front court.
Yeah, it's great. But is Barnes their power forward? Is he the small forward? Because I know that's another backcourt is Fox and Castle. I don't know who they're. Is it
Champagny? Julian Champagny plays the 3.
He plays the 3. So yes. So Barnes is the power forward then. So, yeah, like so yeah, it would be like a lot of one-on-one play with Jokic versus Wemby, and I would 100% take Jokic in that matchup. So, yeah, like it might come down to like a lot of the matchups outside of that. So yeah, maybe it would be another series where Jamal Murray would be the X factor, but who knows? And then yeah, of course we'll finish off the show by talking about the Rockets versus the Lakers. So give me 1 second before I do that. Celtics just posted the starting lineup. I'm assuming they're going with the same thing. Yeah, they are. I wish they were going to kind of wish they went with Baylor over Hauser. But I guess they're not going to change that yet. But kind of wish they did. But yeah, the Lakers went up 3-0 on games 1 and 2, which is completely lopsided. Game 3, the Rockets were up for a good amount of it, and then up 4 with like 30 seconds left, or however many. And then the Lakers just completely ends up like taking over the game. LeBron, amazing game, great minutes. Like Marcus Smart, awesome as well. But since then, the Rockets have won 2 more games, and Austin Reeves came back yesterday, looked pretty good in the first half. But it's sneaky interesting to say the least. I don't think that yeah, like I'd still probably take the Lakers in this series, but I definitely think that besides the Nuggets, I'd be most interested in seeing what the Rockets could do to close the series out.
I mean, it's definitely going to be tough. I think the Rockets are really kicking themselves about Game 3 right now, the game that they had
Yes.
won. If it wasn't
Yeah.
for the heroics of Marcus Smart, obviously Kevin Durant's out for Game 6. That came out earlier this morning, which is such a shame. But I had this tweet up earlier. Sorry. The story of this series, in my opinion, is the 3-point percentage and 3-point shooting. It's a make or miss league. You know, you always say that, and it's way easier to say when it's not your favorite team in the series. The Lakers in games 1 through 3 shot 46%. To the Rockets, 28.7%. The Lakers in games 4 to 5, which they lost, obviously, they shot 24.5%, and the Rockets shot over 37%. So obviously, it's a lot more goes into it than just 3-point percentages, but that tells a lot of the story there. Rockets were, atrocious from behind the line the first couple games, and they've seemed to have found their shot.
I definitely agree. I did want to touch on we didn't mention Kevin Durant being out. So, I did want to touch on a lot of like the slander has been going on, which like I can't say I feel bad for the guy because given like the whole like Twitter scandal. But that being said, I also think like the notion that like the Rockets are like it's all his faults, I think is nonsense. I think that he's a big part of the reason why the Rockets have been successful this year. I know that like they're like offensive, like their offensive on off is like insane with them on versus off. And also just the fact that I know a lot of people say like, oh, they were the second seed this year, last year, fifth seed this year. I called out from day one. I thought that the Rockets last year were the most fraudulent second seed ever. Like I know everyone loved them and their defense, but the reality is they didn't have like an awesome offensive guy outside of Fred VanVleet who's injured this year. So like it. And I know that people like gloss over the fact that like Steven Adams and Fred VanVleet aren't that important, which I think they are. And but however, shout out to to the role players for like stepping up in games 4 and 5. So I know that Durant's already out for game 6, but as far as it goes for if he's available game 7, I'd have to I wouldn't question it. Like if he's healthy enough for game 7, put him in, and I would definitely trust him as much as anyone else to close it out. But
Another
however,
takeaway from
go
the
ahead.
series is that if the Lakers advance, Luka's probably going to miss the next series versus the Thunder.
He wouldn't. I know he would miss at least game 1, but I don't know how much of the like that would be. If Luka still plays, I still think take the Thunder in like 4 or 5 games. But yeah, regardless, so yeah, it definitely stinks for the Lakers that they weren't able to show who they truly were. But in a playoff run, especially because like time's running out with this trio of Luka, Reeves, and LeBron. Did Reeves get a new contract this year? I forgot. Hang on, let me check. Reeves is currently in a 4-year, $53 million a year. Player option. Okay. No, so he has a player option. So, I would assume the Lakers are going to pay him, but
They should.
yeah, and they should, but should they though? But yeah, pairing Luka and Reeves up for to be the duo.
Did they extend Luka yet? I mean, they obviously should extend.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They extended Luka over the summer. So
obviously extend him before Reeves. Yeah, good question.
I think they probably will at the end of the day. Like these kind of things could be tough, like especially if he signs with another team in the West, and then like he kicks their ass in the playoff series that always ends up not being that good. But however, you have to build your team around them really well. You have to get a bunch of good defensive guys, and your starting center can't be DeAndre Ayton. But but we all know that it gets tough to build around building guys when you give them max contracts, which Reeves isn't even eligible for max contracts. He hasn't made an All-Star or All-NBA team. So I don't know, but yeah, but regardless, it'll be interesting to say the least. But yeah, anyway, back to okay. So a couple updates. So first of all, Knicks are up 32 with 9 minutes to go in the second half.
32.
Yeah. So they clearly didn't want to go back to. They wanted to travel back to New York, and they don't want to play game 7. That's what they want to do. So the other one being Shams just tweeted a lineup update from the Timberwolves, I think. Oh, major loss. Oh, Io DeSumo is out in Game 6 due to a calf injury.
Wow.
Holy crap!
Wow.
So
They can't catch a break.
No, they can't. Yeah. So I guess is Conley going to get minutes now? Actually, like more minutes, and something you clearly didn't want to do.
Bones Highland was questionable too.
Was he? Oh, brutal. Yeah. So I don't even know what they're. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Shout out to King. Yeah. Is it King LeJulius or is it just LeJulius?
LeJulius,
he's good. Yeah, he's got to be. Yeah, to pick it up a lot more. So yeah, he's and he did it last year. So I'm not gonna dive deeper into how wrong I was about him, but not just me, by the way. Everyone thought he was gonna play up drop, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, Celtics tip off is in less than 20 minutes. Broadcasting starts in about 6 minutes. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for us tonight. Matt, thanks for coming on and adjusting your dinner time. You already had dinner made ahead of this. We're gonna go bang that out, finish it up right before tip off. But yeah, thanks for coming on, and hopefully we'll have John back on next week for Rivas, and hopefully I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because last year when I said hopefully we're doing something, then something else happened. So I'm not gonna say anything. But anyway, this has been another episode of the All-American Hoops podcast. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms at All-American Hooper on TikTok and Instagram, at American Hooper on Twitter. Be sure to check me out on Wednesday nights, Fluent vs. Chill vs. Everyone, with myself, Fluent Chill, Ori B, and Jalen Carter. And be sure to check out sportsfluent.com for more digital content. This has been another episode of All-American Hoops podcast. Until next time, keep grinding and stay hooping. Have a great night, everyone.